Hello and welcome to Grateful Glamper. Our channel is all about inspiring you when it comes to RV living, family travel, and making things easier. In this video, we are going to show you why the traditional approach that most people take to organization doesn't work, plus show you some of the basic tools and things that you're going to want to carry with you on the road. And we've got an announcement coming a little bit later in this video. So a lot of the reason that typical organization doesn't always work for people is because it's not easy to be able to put things back where that they came from in the first place. So you've probably had the struggle where you take a day, you declutter, you get organized, and then 3 or 4 months later, you are back in the same boat. Things are scattered all over. You don't know where anything is, or the clutter is just overwhelming you. Well, if you can resonate with that, you're in the right spot, because we're going to talk about ways to keep things very simple so that you can easily find things, but it's very simple to be able to put them back where they came from in the first place so that you don't end up in that situation again. So the next step in the decluttering process and just the organization process is to really what we call KonMari everything. And that means basically that you're going to empty out everything in whatever space it is that you're organizing. So in our RV storage compartments, what that means for us is we empty everything completely out. We get it all out, we get it all spread out so that we can actually see what we have, and then we can sort through it and we can decide what is absolutely necessary to carry with us and what doesn't need to come with us anymore and could either 1, be donated, or 2, thrown away. Or if you're a full-time RVer, there's things that you don't necessarily want to get rid of per se, but it doesn't need to come with you either. So most full-timers do have some sort of storage option, whether it's a storage unit, whether it's a relative's garage, something like that, put it away into storage. The next thing that you want to do is just make sure that everything is clean. So if you are cleaning out your storage compartments, get out the vacuum, make sure you vacuum all of that up. If you are inside of your RV and you're cleaning out the fridge or the cupboards or the closet, make sure that you wipe everything down, vacuum everything up so that as you go to put things back away, we're putting it away into a nice clean space for it to live in. So the next thing that you want to think about is, what do you use most often and what do you use least often? Some of the things that we use most often when we're set up at a campground are going to be things like our camping chairs, maybe our side table, of course, the kids' bikes, which we use all of the time. Our solo stove is maybe something that we're going to use more often. And then some of the things that we use least often are going to be things like our inflatable kayaks or our inflatable paddle boards, where we're not going to drag those out at every single campsite, but we drag those out when we're at the places that we want to use them. I recently had somebody on Instagram that wrote in and asked a question about bigger storage compartments in like fifth wheels and travel trailers, where you have this huge storage compartment and it's like pass through, and so you literally have to almost crawl into that storage space to access things that are in the center part of that. And that is a great spot to store those things that you use least often. So things like maybe some tools, which we're going to talk about in just a few minutes, and you're gonna wanna see those that you might wanna carry with you. Things like maybe some spare parts. We'll talk about those too, and what spare parts that you should consider carrying with you. But those are the things you're not gonna use every day. So it's a great space to be able to put those types of things that you want to bring along, you're just not gonna use all the time. So one of the things that we carry with us that we highly suggest that every RVer carries with them is a telescoping ladder. Now ours is sitting right back over in here, and this is a great example of something that we don't use every single day. And so where we store it in our RV is behind a bunch of other stuff, and that's just because we don't need easy access to it. We're not up on the roof of the RV every day, thank God, but we've got it when we need it, and there are going to be times that you need one of these in RV life. So we highly recommend carrying one with you. We'll have a link in the description below for all of the products that we're going to talk about in this video that are just some must-have things that you're gonna want to bring with you. Now, in this particular storage compartment, what we have got going on here for a lot of our storage and organization is a bag system. So a lot of the things that are in here are in bags that some of them have zippers, some of them don't, and that's okay as long as the things that are in the bags are not in danger of falling out of the bags if the bag is not zipped shut. So another great system with bags are these ones that we got on Amazon. Now I absolutely love these. This is all of our snorkel equipment. These cinch at the top. They're backpack style so that you can put them on and walk to the boat or wherever that you're going snorkeling. But they also have some mesh at the front so that your equipment that's in here that's maybe a little bit wet can dry easily, doesn't get moldy. Another great thing that I love using for RV storage are these Ikea bags. Now these things are huge and they come in handy in so many different ways, whether it's trips to the grocery store or storing things in your RV, like maybe hoses or extra blankets or anything that you're just going to keep down in these compartments that you don't just want in there loosely. Now, here's a little confessional time. I actually have used these a ton in our travels for things like when I'm purging out and I need to make a run to the thrift store for donations, but I know I'm not gonna have time to do it then. I will load up one of these Ikea bags, throw it down in our storage compartments until I know we're gonna be at a spot that I can get this run over to the thrift store. So I wanted to show you real fast what we've got going on in this particular set of basement compartments. Now, here's an organization idea that not a lot of people think of, and that is actually using things like buckets. Buckets can be a great way to store lots of things. In this one, we've got our tools, and I am gonna go through and I'm gonna show you some of the tools that you want to carry with you for RV living here in just a moment. We've also got some bags, which is a great way to store tools or miscellaneous things as well. One of my favorite things for storing things in an RV, whether that's in these compartments or inside, are these soft-sided rope baskets. Now, the reason that I really like these is because it will smush down to fit in these compartments very, very easily. So when you have got odd size space things, maybe you've got a tub or something else, camp chairs, and it's like you've got some space, but it's really odd size shaped, these types of baskets will flex and you can fit those in those tight spaces and be able to keep things organized that way. All right, now another one of my favorite ways to organize, especially these types of storage compartments, are with these types of tubs. Now, you're going to want to make sure that you get yourself a label maker or just a piece of masking tape and a magic marker work just as great, but you want to label what is in each of these tubs. Now, clear tubs can be somewhat helpful because you're able to sort of see the contents that are in them, but you're not gonna be able to see everything. So having some sort of label that is on the tub that tells you what's in it is a great way to know where things are and be able to access them easily. Now, here's some tips. You're going to want to carry some spare parts with you. If you have a drivable motorhome, like we have a diesel pusher, we keep extra things like a fuel filter, an oil filter, engine oil, coolant, those types of fluids for the drivable vehicle. Now for the actual RV part itself, you want to have extra things on hand, like an extra water pump should your water pump go out. Extra things like just miscellaneous screws are always a good idea in case that you have to make a repair on the fly. And probably one of our most often used tools for repairs, I'm gonna show you a little bit later, but suffice it to say, we go through tons of this stuff. So I'll show you what that is here in just a few minutes. So before I show you some of the tools that we carry with us and our most used tool that we use, I wanna take a quick minute to thank the sponsor of this video, Unique Camping and Marine. Now, we absolutely love using their products now, and since we have started using their products, no more black tank smell. Now, I used to use bleach when I cleaned the toilet of the RV, thinking that was probably the best way to keep things clean and of course to try to keep smells away. Found out that that actually can make smells worse because bleach kills bacteria, and having a healthy colony of bacteria is actually one of the things that helps to keep the smells away. So I now use the Unique cleaner in the toilet, follow that up with a drop-in pod, and no more black tank smells. Unique has actually partnered with us to be able to give our viewers a discount on their products. You'll find that at the link below, and you can get your coupon for 15% off. Let's go back to the tools. I know for some of you it might sound like the most boring subject on the planet, but let me tell you some interesting stories about if we hadn't had the right tools for the job, things could have been way more stressful than what they were. For instance, case in point, point, the time we actually got locked in our own RV.
I came out this morning and had my coffee in my hand. I had my chair out, gonna sit down and have a nice cup of coffee out by the beach, and the door wouldn't open, completely jammed. So I had to crawl out the driver's side and try to unlock it from the outside, and that wouldn't work. So Charity had to unscrew this just to get us out of the door.
And if we hadn't had some basic tools, we would not have been able to let ourselves out of the RV. So about 80% of the problems that you encounter on the road are things that you can fix yourself if you've got a little bit of knowledge and you've got the basic tool set. So we're gonna go over some of the basic tools that every single RVer should carry with them in their RV. And here's the kicker. It's pretty basic. You don't have to bring the whole toolbox out of the garage. A few simple things will get the job done. So the tools that you want to have with you as an RVer are a nut driver and socket set. Now, this is important to have both a standard and a metric size. So standard sizes are those that are more of your American measurements. So say like a 5/16, while metric are those that are measured in millimeters. You want to have both of these because different RVs from different manufacturers can potentially have both types of sizes in them. So you just want to do yourself a favor, have both sizes available. The next thing that you need is a screwdriver set. The 9-in-1 sets work great so that you've got all of the different types of screwdriver bits that you might possibly need. Disposable gloves are always handy to have. A utility knife, or some people grew up calling this a carpet knife like I did, always a great idea to carry with you. You never know when you might need one of those. Now, a caulking gun, super important to carry with you. You will encounter things like water intrusion if you have an RV that's just a little bit older. So it's always a great idea to carry a caulking gun and also a couple of tubes of sealant that you can use if you need to make a quick repair on the fly or find out that you have a water leak that you didn't know that you had. You want to be able to get that taken care of right away. So we talked about wanting to carry things like miscellaneous screws and just miscellaneous parts. Now, having an organizer like this is a great place to store all of those. Obviously, you don't want a bunch of loose screws, no pun intended, rolling around in your RV. So having a tool organizer like this to be able to keep miscellaneous things like screws, things like washers if you need them in a hose, just all of those little parts and pieces, nice and organized in a nice kind of chest set like this. A tape measure is something that you always want to have with you. Now here's also a little tip. If you have not done this yet, what you want to do is get out your tape measure and actually get on the roof of your RV with that telescoping ladder that we talked about earlier. Take a measurement from the very top of your highest point on your RV, which is probably your AC unit, down to the ground, and know exactly what your height is. Do not go off of the spec sheet that the manufacturer has given you. You want to be able to know exactly what your height is, print it out on a label or write it on a piece of paper and stick it to your dashboard. That way, the next time you come to that low clearance bridge, you're not double guessing, am I gonna fit or not? You know exactly where you're at. So another must-have on your tool list is going to be a small cordless drill. We've used this thing dozens and dozens of times. Some electrical tape is also something that you're going to want to carry with you to be able to make any minor repairs on the fly. So another thing that we carry with us, highly suggest, is this plastic wood filler. This is gonna help you if you decide to take down your valances, do anything in the inside to fill in those wood holes. Now, Eternabond tape, this is something you definitely need to have to make any sort of repairs on the fly. Very easy to snag something on your roof and tear a small hole. You wanna take care of it as soon as possible. So now, one of our most often used tools that we absolutely cannot live RV life without: Gorilla Tape. This stuff, this and zip ties, people, will fix anything that ails you. But in all seriousness, this can definitely get you out of a bind if you have got something where you just need to get a quick temporary fix done. So we have gone through more rolls of this than I can count, but it's something that you want to carry with you for RV living. Now, something every single RVer should carry with them is one of these Vi-Air pumps. Now, we got ours on Amazon. I'll put a link in the description below, but we actually keep ours in the Jeep, and that is if we have a flat tire in the Jeep, we can use this on the Jeep. Jeep. And if we have something in the RV, well, we're gonna have the Jeep with the RV if we have a problem. So we put it in the back of our Jeep, and it totally helps out in a pinch should we have a flat tire. Another thing that we do carry with us is a portable battery charger. We do have a charge line that goes from the RV to the Jeep, and we'll be doing a video very, very soon on our flat tow setup. So make sure you hit that subscribe button for that video. But with this, it helps us out if for some reason that charge line's not connected correctly and we end up with a dead battery. We've used this more times than I can count on the road. It's a great tool to have with you to help you out in a pinch. Okay, now something I'm super excited to announce to you guys is that Ben and I right now are working our way through the RV owner course through the RV National Training Academy. The National RV Training Academy is very well renowned for training people to become both RV techs and certified RV inspectors. They've also had a course for RV owners to be able to go through, which will equip you to fix about 80% of anything that would go wrong in your RV by equipping you with some basic knowledge of electrical, plumbing, propane, the basic systems that you find in an RV unit. Now, this is located in Athens, Texas, and we've always wanted to be able to go take this training, but with our family travel schedule, haven't been able to do that. So we're super excited that now there is a home study course available. It's completely on demand. So we're working our way through it at our own pace and finally getting the skills to be able to work on this ourselves instead of having to pay what we call stupid tax by spending the money to call out an RV tech for something as simple as a blown fuse. And yes, that has happened to us in the past, but no more by being able to take this course. So if that is something that you're interested in, highly recommend it, especially for some of you solo female travelers. There'll be a link in the description below where you can check it out, get the home study version. There's 2 different options for that. All information will be at the link for you below. Now, if you'd like to check out a video about ways to make RV life simpler through some organization and hacks, check that out right up here. If we don't see you out on the road or around the campground, we'll definitely see you in the next video.